Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Leaders of Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Ferraro, and with me today, we have an excellent and special guest, Skye Michiels. Skye is an expert with over 20 years in real estate. Skye is currently the national head of agent development at Compass, where he is training Compass realtors to lead their teams, their business, and themselves with heart. He also is the founder and host of the popular motivation and accountability group, the 6 a.m.ers, which we're going to talk about, and its podcast, fostering community for thousands of agents every week. Skye Michiels, thank you so much for being with us.
I'm thrilled to be with you, Michael.
Skye, I have wanted to have you on this podcast for a while because your history in the business, your knowledge, your motivation, everything that you bring to the real estate community is so great. But it would be insane for us to not talk about the biggest news story in real estate, maybe ever. What's going on with the national associations and the Burnett Switzer, and what, as a real estate agent in the community, can we do to look at the positives going forward? What can we do, in your opinion, to really crush 2024 in spite of all of this?
Sure. I'm thrilled to be on and talk about this topic, and mainly because of the fact that I think the facts on the ground have not changed. For anyone that doesn't know, I'm sure all of us listening anyone that's in real estate, you probably have an awareness of the case. But last week, the case was settled in Kansas City. And at the end of the day, that case is going to get appealed. It's going to, who knows how long it's going to roll on for. It could get settled. We don't know. But the bottom line is, what I do know is that everything in that court case does not change the facts on the ground today, which is November 7th, 2023. Everything is exactly the same as what it was before. Number one, commission is a negotiable piece for three parties. It's negotiable for sellers, it's negotiable for buyers, and it's negotiable for agents. Right. That fact has not changed from before this lawsuit was going on to today. And that's, I think, a piece that agents maybe aren't really understanding or realizing, the fact that everything on the ground has remained the same. And if anything, I'm actually viewing this as a massive, massive opportunity for Compass and Compass agents to really create a difference and show the value that they have compared to other people in the industry. So if we're negotiating, if someone wants to be represented and they want to pay for that representation, you got to provide massive amounts of value. And what a great opportunity we have in front of us to do just that. When you think about real estate today and you think about the role technology plays in real estate and what we can do with the technology we have in enhancing the experience of the clients we're working with, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, Michael, in the hotel industry, you have two different hotels, and I don't want to, not knocking any hotel chains, right? But there's Best Western and then there's Ritz-Carlton. People pay different prices for different levels of service. And if anything, what we are sort of given an opportunity right now is we have an opportunity to really, really create a difference in what we do as realtors compared to other people in the industry, because of the fact that we have certain things that no one else has. We have a technology platform that is bar none, above head and tails above anything that's out there for consumers and for realtors. We have a national network of agents that working under one company that are all working at collaborating, getting better, sharing ideas, sharing referral leads, etc. And we have a culture of excellence that permeates everything throughout this company. And that's the things that I really get excited about this opportunity, because of the fact that while there is definitely a level of fear and anxiety and uncertainty right now, we have an opportunity to really create a difference between what we do and what other people do.
No, absolutely. I think a lot of what the lawsuit discussion, thank you for kind of recapping what is going on. But yeah, our commission structure and the way that we've been doing business with cooperating brokers and cooperating commissions the last 100 years is a little bit what the discussion and the verdict and everything was all about. us being leaders in technology is a huge plus for the real estate community, especially within Compass, to say, look, we are the forefront in this. I think you're touching on something which is perfect, which gets to the bottom of a lot of anxiety within current agents in the field right now, which is anything changing for me right now? And the answer is no. Right now, there's nothing changing for you. And the second thing is, okay, I feel like I have to articulate my value and what we do and how we bring it to the public now more than ever, to maybe even
Yeah,
go against some of the narrative. How do agents articulate that, and on which platforms, and what's the best practice to start that?
absolutely. Well, the first thing, and once again, I think all this is good, right? Sometimes things happen to us that actually are good things and make us better as agents. The very first thing an agent needs to do right now, and this actually goes for any agent, not just Compass agents, but for all our Compass agents, the first thing you really need to do is you need to look at your system of how you work and begin working with buyers. In the past, maybe you just started to show properties and, you developed a relationship over a slow period of time. What you really need to do right now, though, is understand and evaluate your system. And I really advise everyone, this was the system that I've been using for years. And once again, this is not changing. And this is what I'd advise for people to do, is the first thing you need to do when you are come in contact with someone is you need to learn more information about this person. What are their goals? What's their personality style? How do they like to communicate? And I did this using a buyer questionnaire, which, by the way, Michael, I can share that with you as well, if that would be helpful.
Yep.
The second thing you need to do, similar to a financial advisor or a lawyer or any other service provider that's out there that's professional, you need to set up a consultation, because of the fact you need to be in this consultative advisory role, that buyers understand, here's how I'm going to help and support you. And by the way, also, here are the 5, 6, 10, 50 things that I do that bring value to you. And here's how that's going to benefit you and hopefully save you money, hopefully, create that relationship up front. Similar to a lawyer, like you wouldn't call a lawyer and be like, hey, I got this case. And he's like, all right, well, send me over the info and let me start working on it. And let me, yeah, I'll meet you down at the courthouse and we'll go through it. No, like a lawyer says, all right, great. Let's set up a meeting. Let's have a consultation. Let's gain an understanding. And then if we decide to work together, we can work together. So that's step one, is that agents need to really dive into their system of how they meet and then work with buyers and sort of convert them into what we would call from a consumer to a client, right? And the key piece, and this is going to be different for every single state, every region. And with real estate, the interesting thing is there is not a national rule or law that applies across the country. It's all driven by states. In some states, right now, I believe there are 14 states that require an agency agreement, an actual contract.
Right.
In other states, it's optional. So once again, the conditions in your state may begin to change, but as of today, what you can do is, what is my system and my process to make sure I'm delivering massive levels of value to a buyer, and that they understand the process of working with that. So that's step one. Step two would be, what are the potential scenarios I'm going to encounter and how will I deal with those scenarios? So for example, if you have a contract signed with a buyer that says the buyer's paying you 2.5%, 3% commission, whatever the negotiated commission is on that contract, and then you encounter a situation where maybe the seller's not offering a cooperating broker commission or covering that, what is the system and once again, the way you're going to approach your buyer about how that fee is going to get paid, and all the things that may come with that. So every agent, again, the first step is, here, let me meet the person and understand the value, create the agreement of how we're going to work together. And then when we're working together, what are the things that I may encounter and how am I going to deal with these different scenarios? So practicing your, once again, if you're an athlete or a football player or baseball, whatever sport you may want to create an analogy around, don't practice in the game. practice before the game so you know how you can react in different scenarios.
Right.
And then the third and final thing is really lean into the value that you can create as a Compass agent by leveraging the technology. There's a line I like to use, and I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on this. I'll be polite and
Go
I'll
ahead.
say, all
It's
right,
it's okay.
it's allowed. All right. So customer service is bullshit.
Okay.
Customer experience is everything.
Okay.
Meaning customer service that's a given, right? Servicing a customer, meaning like responding to an email or opening a door, that's just the standard of what you should do as a realtor.
Hmm.
What is the experience you're creating that is different than everyone else? And that's, I think, the thing we need to dive deeper into. In a previous market where the market was, is moving very fast. Okay, maybe customer service was all you needed to do because of the fact it was moving so fast and all you needed to do was sort of keep up with it. But we have shifted into a market where customer experience is everything. So
Hmm.
you really need to ask yourself the question, what is the experience I'm providing for people? And how do I make it different or memorable versus making it just the quote unquote standard, right? Because I can guarantee, Michael, that you have no memory of any customer service you've ever used unless it was a bad one, right?
That's true.
But you have a lot of memory around an experience you had with a hotel chain, an Uber driver, a restaurant, you name it, right? So, what is it we can do to create this exceptional experience for people, which is something that they're not only are willing to pay for, but want to pay for, right?
Hmm.
I will pay money for an experience, but I'm not going to pay money for just the standard service. Does that make sense as far as the
Yep.
one, two,
Yep.
three things that agents can really dive into?
Yes, absolutely. I think that you're talking about what is something that I always talk about, which is basically an explanation of services. We should call it an explanation of experiences, and an
That's right.
explanation of experience that you get with us as a buyer agent now. Whereas before, the public has looked at the buyer agent as somebody that, oh, you work for free, you show me houses. But now there's a chance that with all of this happening, you might become one of the most valuable pieces of all of this, because you're going to have to provide and explain those services and the experience you provide for others and to this client, why, what it is, the tech
Yeah.
we leverage. And then what's happening now, like you're talking about, is there's going to possibly be a flat fee, a commission, an hourly, most likely commission on just the buyer side that's going to be agreed to before. And you're going to have a buyer say, I know that I will happily pay this to my buyer
Yep.
agent, because my buyer agent provides everyone with the absolute best service and experience they possibly can. The experience is really what needs to be explained, because everybody understands the services we provide. We know where the properties are. We can open the
That's right.
door for you. We can get you comps. But what's the experience? What's a good versus a bad experience? What does it actually look like? How do we
Yeah.
justify how we create good experiences? Oh, that's more on the emotional side than the logical side. That's why I'm going to choose this person. That's why I will pay that money for that experience. As far as the listing side of it, talk a little bit, Skye, about how Compass agents, especially can leverage Compass on the listing side now more than ever. Listings
Sure.
will become more important than ever from this process. How do we leverage Compass?
Well, there's we could go into 30 different directions on this, so I'll try to make it a little more concise.
Sure.
The first thing is the training and education and coaching that we provide. Right now, there are so many different programs that are out there that often it gets described as drinking from a fire hose. The key thing when you're approaching the trainings here at Compass is approaching it like an apple tree,
Yep.
and don't try to eat every single apple on that tree. Pick the one or two that you can eat at the moment that's going to help you. Consume those, enjoy those, and then you
Right.
can go back to the tree. And I really encourage every single agent right now that if you are not leaning into training and coaching, whatever that may look for you, right? Maybe it's free from what we provide. Maybe it's a third party coach that we, help facilitate. Or maybe it's a third party that's outside of Compass. Whatever it might be, though, you need to be getting better at your craft and your trade, which is real estate. So that's
Right.
number one. As far as what Compass provides, there is no company that provides an end-to-end platform that allows you as an agent to connect as a human being at a higher level. Technology is not designed to replace you as an agent. What it's designed to do is to replace tasks that you do that take a lot of time and energy and make them simple. And what you need to do is then reinvest that time into human connection. So, for example, when I first started selling real estate in 2002, I would show 4 homes and I would go onto MapQuest. I'd type those homes in, I'd print the directions out,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
use the odometer on my car,
yeah,
and God forbid I missed the turn or I made a
yeah,
wrong turn or
yeah.
right? Oh my God, like where am I going? Like I'd
Oh,
be so screwed up, right?
brutal. Yeah.
Today, what do? Google Maps. Turn right, turn left, go straight. You know, that
Yeah.
is an example of how technology has removed a really, really challenging process and system and given me time back.
Right.
And so within real estate, most realtors are dealing with systems that are what I call Frankenstein, meaning they have a CRM that's this company, they have a
Right.
marketing platform that's this company, they have this other thing that's this company. They have, right? All these systems do not cooperate and work together, which is very similar to me using MapQuest to show homes with
Right.
my car's odometer, with, right? Realtors out there, the outside of Compass, are using these antiquated systems to try to do their business at a higher level, which they can do if they like work really, really, really hard and they create all these unique little systems of working it. Maybe they can do it. But at Compass, what you have an opportunity is to have an end-to-end system or
Mhm.
platform that everything cooperates and talks to each other. So what that does, it enables you to move faster and cleaner and at a higher level. So for example, I want to execute a marketing plan to my sphere of influence at another brokerage or another company outside of Compass, I need to use 4, 5, 6, 7 systems to do that. At Compass, I can do that within the same platform. So I can create the marketing assets. I have the use of my CRM. I have Compass AI to help me draft some of the copy, right? All these other things I can do. And in minutes, I can execute on my marketing plan versus the hours or days it's going to take me. Now, that time I've gained, Michael, needs to be reinvested into one thing, which is connection, in person, human to human connection. Because the reality is, we are in what I call a 5D market. The people selling or buying in this market are dealing with death, divorce, diapers, diplomas, or diamonds. One of those 5 categories, most likely they're experiencing in their life, which is making them want to move, buy or sell real estate. The more I'm connected to people, the more I get to be that person that they reach out to when they're going through one of those 5Ds. So the piece of technology that every agent at Compass needs to be using is CRM. You have got to be using the CRM to help you